Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Anand, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group to the second day of our Middle East Rooftop Solar Congress 2022. Hope you had a good time networking with your peers today. We'll have those networking sessions again at the end of the sessions. Now, it's time to start the second day of our conference. But before that, I take the pleasure to thank our partners, Huawei and Longi Solar, for extending their immense support to organize this event. Now, we'll play the videos.
Is it that takes us further into the future? It exists in every visible detail. And somewhere in the unexplored possibilities, we imagine countless times that dry deserts become lush oases. And now it has become a reality. Sunlight spur a new ray of hope. Make the earth green and breathe new life everywhere. The size from rural to urban areas get simplified gradually. Conserve the nature and ensure seamless connectivity. Turning complexity into simplicity. Modular construction of data centers is designed for an intelligent digital world. To unleash cloud computing potential and to accelerate the smart future. Speed up for future transport. For every pleasure travel, green power is used to achieve an excellent experience. Modular power can be highly integrated and applied everywhere. To light up the moments you are looking forward to. Bring unlimited possibilities and make life better and convenient. Huawei Digital Power. Preserve Earth with technologies. For zero carbon, smart society.
Longi has become the #1 solar company in the world. Let us look at how that has been achieved via a series of groundbreaking milestones. 20 gigawatts, a new milestone. In 2020, Longi became the first solar technology company to ship more than 20 gigawatt modules annually, which almost equals to the installed capacity of the largest hydroelectric power plant. Longi has 15 manufacturer bases and more than 30 branches in 11 cities around the world, cooperating with more than 5,000 customers and energy groups. Regardless of environmental conditions, be it cold, heat, drought, or humidity, the reliable performance of its solar modules makes Longi the leading light in moving the world towards a green and sustainable energy future across 6 continents and 85 countries. Technology changes our future. Longi firmly believes that the science and technology will change the future and create a better life. Over the past 21 years, Longi has been totally committed to the monocrystalline technology, convinced that it would bring about industrial technological change and become the benchmark for the global PV industry. Between 2012 and 2019, over $826 million have been invested in R&D. As of June 2020, Longi has accumulated 858 authorized patents. In 2015, LONGi took the industry lead in achieving 100% diamond wire cutting of monosilicon, increasing the cut-in speed by 90% and saving the PV industry over $4 billion each year, the monetary equivalent of the annual construction of 5 Beijing Olympic stadiums and national aquatic centers. LONGi's commitment to the promotion of mono-PERC technology successfully opened the door to the PV 3.0 era. Since then, the industry trend has undergone significant change, with monocrystalline now dominating with a market share of 90%. Increased innovation is the mantra and commitment of each and every LONGi employee, breaking world records and industry barriers no less than 14 times. The front-side conversion efficiency of a LONGi monobifacial PER cell has reached 24.06%. People-oriented, value first. LONGi remains fully customer-oriented to create the best solar modules. From M2 to M6 wafer standardization, LONGi has demonstrated full commitment to bifacial power generation technology and has led the industry into the 450 watt plus high power era. In 2020, LONGi took the lead in launching the M10 wafer standard with 6 other leading organizations in the industry, and has also released the 5th generation of its ultra high power modules, HIMO 5, with a maximum power of 540 watts and a conversion efficiency of more than 21%. The company's people-oriented, value-first approach is fully reflected in every scientific and technological innovation at LONGi. With dimensions and weight of 2,256 by 1,133 millimeters and 32.3 kilograms, respectively, LONGi adopts established and reliable horizontal and vertical packing and transportation modes, ergonomic standard installation, and outstanding life cycle performance in response to various environmental and meteorological conditions, leading the industry into the era of the 182mm module and standards. LONGi, always moving forward. LONGi is continuously providing green energy for education, medical treatment, agriculture, forestry, fishery, retail, and other industry sectors with its solar technology. At the 24th United Nations Climate Conference, LONGi announced the green development concept of solar for solar and became the first Chinese solar energy company to join the RE100, EV100, and EP100 initiatives. LONGi commits to always delivering against expectations in order to usher in a bright future for green energy worldwide. LONGi, always moving forward. LONGi, leading the energy revolution, making green ambitions reality.
So now it's time to start with the second day of our conference. But before that, I take the pleasure to thank our partners Huawei and Longi Solar for extending their immense support. Now, let me quickly take you through the agenda for today. We'll be having a session on rooftop solar O&M and asset management, and then we'll have a prestigious award ceremony. And now, without any further delay, I would like to welcome Mr. Anirudh Agarwal, Senior Account Executive, the Solar Labs, to give us presentation. Over to you, sir. You can share your screen.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Anand, so much for the same. So good afternoon, everyone. So today I'll be taking just a few minutes to talk about some of the EPC companies who are doing some tremendous work using the technology and digitally transforming the business. So I'll just share my screen before we move ahead. Anand, if you can just let me know, like, if you can see my screen right away.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Great. So over the years, we have seen that the digital transformation has been taking up in all the sectors, and same is the solar. And so this is where the Solar Lab is also helping the EPC companies use this digital platform and help them to digitally transform their business. So Solar Labs is basically a software as a service platform, which is also powered by artificial intelligence, which helps EPC players to design and even provide commercials to the normal clients and the customers in less than 20 to 30 minutes. And as we have seen that there has been some tremendous time that is being taken to design the projects initially with using multiple softwares on the time, leading to increase in the cost as well as taking more time to create those projects. And there is also some kind of synchronization details that you have to take between different departments such as marketing team, design team, and then going back to the sales team and all. So this is how we can reduce that thing, and even eventually leading to low conversion rates between your clients as well. So this is where you can help Solar Labs comes into the picture, where it will help you to reduce those costs. And this is where, like, we have seen that the soft cost has been the most kind of tremendous reasons where these costs keeps on growing, specifically if you see in the commercial sector, leading to around 2 rupees per watt peak, or around, you can say, leading to 0.24 watt peak dollars, or around 1800 rupees dollar per installation. So there is a need for an integrated platform which will help you not only lowering the cost also, but eventually helping you to increase the profitability of a company as well. Solar Labs is a digital platform which gives you all those an integrated tool wherein you can do all those, like remote site surveys, provide faster proposals to your customers, do easy financial analysis, do the electrical part, wiring, model simulations, all at a single place, and provide quicker proposals to your customers. The Solar Labs is basically based on two use cases. One being the pre-sales, wherein you can do remote site surveys, provide quotations to your customers, provide 3D view links of how your project will look like, give the financial analysis, their payback periods, and eventually change the designs that you are providing to your customers. Even after closing, the same thing, you can do detailed 3D modeling, being the second use cases, provide system layout planning, provide shadow analysis, energy simulations, and also, like, you can download these into a different export into CAD or PVSys reports, which not only helps you to save a lot of time and cost, but eventually help you to convert more clients and sell bigger systems. As I was discussing, so this is an integrated platform where you can do all those things such as designing, provide financial analysis, sharing proposals, custom made layouts for the same, shadow analysis, PV simulation, exporting to CAD layout. On the electrical front, you can get the manual stringing part. You will get the SLD, 3LD feature that we are launching on the soon. And all these things you can complete and share the proposals in less than 30 minutes. We were discussing what some of the companies who are adopting the same to digitally transform the business. So one of being the Amplus Solar, wherein they were earlier taking around 3 to 4 hours to complete a single design. But with the help of Solar Labs, they were able to get those done less than 20 minutes. Similarly, with Greenland Solar, with the presentations and the reports that they were able to show customers of how their roofs will look like in the next 25 years, they were able to show the financials, they were able to see the savings that they were able to get, the production reports, all to the customers, building that trust value and that transparency with the customers, eventually leading them to close more and increase the conversion rate. So not only these, but major companies such as Adani Solar, Sterling and Wilson, Unirac, Thermax Limited, and Tata Power have already joined hands with Solar Labs. And over the years, we have installed more than 30 plus gigawatt of solar installation through our software. We have seen a tremendous increase of 30% in the conversion of the leads with the help of Solar Labs. We have more than 1,000 plus clients across the globe with an accuracy of 99.9% uptime. And followed with this, let me show you our studio, how the Solar Labs work. So I'll just quickly share a small video of the same, like how the works. So this is a very user-friendly software where you just need to use the tools to draw according the same. You will see, like, building the software, you can change the heights of the building or maybe the different kind of obstructions that are there on the rooftop. And similarly, this way you can build these kind of obstructions or while you are designing a particular roof. So this, as you can see in the video as well, like we are just marking the areas, so you don't need to be very technical enough, or it is a very user friendly software where it just help you to do all those things easily. So this artificial intelligence tool of fill face automatically detects all the area that is available for you to design that, and it will automatically, you can adjust all those panels accordingly with changing the same, like you want to change the orientation, you want to change the table sizing, and everything you can do it right away. You can change the tilt angles, everything that is easily available, and you can do that. Similarly, for a tin shed as well, you can use that thing. You can give the tilt angles, you can see as well, like how your tilt and the tin shed will going to be. So this way you can mark the areas, you can change the dimensions as well after you have done the sales visit. There might be some different kind of obstructions like skylights or tableau fans on the top of a tin shed when you're doing that. So this also you can easily do and mark them. So there are different other features such as walkways, handrails for protective purposes that you can also place side by side. And then there is multiple features for obstruction, which is called the copy paste feature or the repeat tool, wherein if you want to replace or replicate the similar kind of objects multiple times, so you can do that, as you can now see in the video as well, like how you can replicate multiple obstructive kind of like skylights or any other kind of obstructions on the rooftop. So this way you can mark all those areas, and then there are artificial intelligence tools like fill face to help you finalize the same and place the panels automatically. Also, you can use multiple tools such as add table for customized model placement as well. So now we'll be using again a fill face tool. So see, the panels will automatically be placed on the top. So you even if you want to do it manually, you can use that add table feature and place that. There is another tool, the copy paste, which is a mirror tool to replicate the same side of that tin shed to the other side. And all that while you are doing that, you can always check those in 3D as well, like how your project is looking like. You can just go to the views option, and while you're designing, you can all check in 3D how your project is looking like, and if you want to make any changes into that, you can always do that side by side. So apart from that, you can add any specific inverters into that. There is the complete data sheet of inverters as well as panels. In that, you can choose the inverters you want to do that. Then you can do the auto size. There is a feature of auto sizing in that as well. You can do the auto sizing. There will be a complete SLD also that will be given to you, which will be saved automatically. You can check the shadow analysis as well. With this, you can see you can do the complete shadow analysis report right on the same software. There is another artificial intelligence tool to help you with that as well, which is called the Solar Access, wherein they will calculate the complete irradiation data falling on that particular rooftop, and you can optimize those panels based on how you want them with that heat map and the solar access map. So all the shadow the panels which are in shadow can be deleted easily using this Solar Access tool, and you don't need to go and single-handedly delete each and every panel and check which panel is involved. So this all you can do it right away. There is also a report that you can generate from the similar software, which we can share with the customers. So this is the report, as you can see here. You can there will be a name of the customer on the top. There will be a complete overview of the project. Then there is a link to 3D view, which I'll show you at the last, how you can share this link with the customers and they can see it in 3D as well. This report is also a customized report wherein your company details and your logos, like on the bottom you can see Solar Lab. It will be your company logo with your credentials on the bottom, wherein you can share these with the customers. Then there is a complete about us page, which will be again a customized based on your company details, so that this creates a trust and the brand value in the market. System metrics page will be there, wherein it refers to about what is the production, what is the PRs, and the annual generation that you are getting from the plant. There is complete financial analysis report, wherein you can see the estimated savings that you're getting from the plant from the next 25 years, what are the payback period, what is the internal rate of return, and what is at what cost you are selling this project to your customer. So you can see on the bar graph as well, you can see the bifurcation, how you are investing and how that money is being recovered during those years. And this is the bar chart with which you can explain that financials to your customers as well, giving that complete view. Then you can show them what components that you're using in that particular software as well, like the models, the inverters. You can add that BOS components, the supply that you are supplying to your customers, giving that again. This is all automated. You just need to enter in that design studio page and all will be calculated automatically. If you're using like micro inverters or optimizers, that also can be shown over here. Like if you're using any optimizers and micro inverters, that can be done here. You can show monthly productions that you're getting, the degradation rate, average annual saving that you can see on the bottom. So this monthly production and also can be shown to your customer, like this is how your monthly production is going to be, and based on that, how much savings also you're going to save during that monthly wise basis. There is a complete specific PRs for monthly wise distribution as well, based upon the global diffusion and global E-ray rates, with the PRs monthly wise and the specific generation along with annual at the bottom. There will be definite specific field segment specification as well, at what tail degree you are placing those panels, number of models that are being placed at that particular specific degree, and what is the power that they are getting from that. So these all specific generations will be there. Then there will be a complete shadow analysis report that will be provided to you. For example, for this June 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. we will be able to show that, and similarly for December 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. that you will be able to show. And then there will be a conclusion at the bottom showing like how much the panels are in shadow free during that throughout the time period. So this again you can show to your regulatory purposes. This can be help you to approve that this is all TUV certified. So you can share it with your customers or any of the regulatory purposes as well. So there is a solar access map as well to show that irradiation and each panel performance that you're getting. So you can see that color coding on the right, red panels being in shadow and the greener ones being in less shadow and producing as efficient above 90% threshold. So this is the way you can show, and the heat map as well, how the panels are being produced and where you need to install the same. What losses you are considering while getting those production can also be shown. You can change these losses as well in the settings page. You can change any losses and the degradation, inverter model efficiency, everything that you can change also right during the time. Then this there's a page of cost of not going solar, which gives you that the opportunity cost that a customer might lose if they're not going with a solar. This is a comparison sheet of bills that they're getting without solar and bills that they'll be getting with solar. So you can see the bar graph change. The bills that they're getting with solar is around like 50,000 rupees in INR, and then there are the bill that is around 1 lakh, 10 lakh rupees that they're getting. So around 40 lakh Indian rupees that they're able to save in that particular span of 1 year. So this is how you can compare these sheets and convince the customers on the sales upfront that how much beneficial also it is for them going solar. And lastly, the impact they're bringing on the environment, what carbon dioxide they're going, equivalent number of trees that they're able to avoid, the number of trees they're able to plant, coal they're able to avoid, all those for that carbon footprint and how much beneficial it is for them and what impact they're bringing on the environment also able to see. And last page, again, this will be a customized page wherein your logo and the company details will be mentioned here with a thank you note. And there will be all that your credentials of your company executives or maybe the details will be mentioned here. And lastly, let me just show you the 3D link. So this is how the 3D link, this link you can share with the customer. And this is how your links, you can just copy this link from the top. You can share them on WhatsApps, email IDs, and everything. The customers can check this link of how the plant is looking like in 3D. They can just scroll down here and wherever they want to. They can also check the shadows that they're falling at any particular time. So from January till December at any specific time, they want to check the shadows. They can just scroll down around that same and they can check the shadows as well. So this all these features that you can do right away at a single point of time with Solar Labs. And this is from my end. And I'll be putting up any questions that you're getting. You can always text in the question mark answers, and I'll be happy to help. I'll be dropping my credentials as well for in case you want to connect with me after that. So thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Anand, for the panel discussion.
So thank you for this insightful presentation, sir. We do have some questions which you can answer like by typing manually. So we have few questions for you, so you can answer them.
Sure.
So
Thank you,
now
Anand.
moving ahead with our exciting panel discussion on the topic rooftop solar O&M and asset management. And to share their insights on the topic, we have Mr. Stephen Molden, Head of Operations, Sun in Motion, Engineer Mahmood Salame, O&M and Digital Technology Manager, Cover Energy. The session will be led by Mr. Sameer Zavaide. So now I welcome all the panelists on the screen and handing it over to Mr. Sameer, sir.
Thank you very much, Anand, for this lovely presentation. I also like to thank the partners, Longi and Huawei, and I hope all the attendees have a fantastic session. We start up with Mr. Mahmoud. Mr. Mahmoud is the O&M and digitization manager at Qawar Energy. He's a subject matter expert in technical services, technology, and solutions oriented. He has over 30 years of experience in information technology, business processes, and technology solutions. He's also the head of the energy committee at the Jordan Engineers Association and board member of the electrical section of Jordan Engineers Association. So you are a very busy man, Mr. Mahmoud, and we thank you very much for being with us. Can you give us a little bit as an introduction from your experience during the past 10 years in the Jordan rooftop market and with a focus on asset management and data management? Over to you, Mahmoud. You are mute, Mahmoud. Check.
Yeah. Thank you,
I'm
Samer, and for the sponsors to give me this chance to participate in this valuable event. And I'm not busy like you, Samer. Okay. Okay, because you are available for all over Jordan activities, not only Jordan but in the region as well. Okay. Now, just to brief regarding the Jordan market, and we are talking about the rooftop. So in the rooftop, we are focusing, or the similar terms in Jordan is the net metering projects, which is nearby that term in terms of rooftop, because the rest either they are annealing projects or grid tied mega scale projects. Now we have in Jordan, we have all kind of that engagement based on the type of the contract you are having with the grid operators and the customers, the stakeholders. Talking about the PPA kind of project, which is the power purchase agreement, it is in a high scale level, which definitely is large mega scale projects. Now, the other one is related to the commercial side of it, which is mainly for wheeling projects. Now, wheeling projects, we are talking about the mega scale project starting with 1 mega to up to now the 40 megawatt project. And it is the commercial one. So it is the beneficiary is the private sector or might be the government sector and education and commercial industries as well. So for that wheeling, it is a project that it is all in the ground mounted in one area that based on the agreement we have with the government and between the stakeholders, there is a way that you can handle the operation maintenance. Now, focusing on the area related to the rooftop, um, in rooftop, we are talking about a variety of engagement and installation that come from residential, okay, which is about 2 kilowatt system, up to the largest now in Jordan. The net metering is about 12 megawatt project, which is one of the Jordanian universities. So taking that much variety, okay, in terms of net metering, which is the rooftop. Most of them is either rooftop or canopies, kind of canopies, or mix of all. Okay. Um, Now we are talking about from the operation point of view, taking that variety, okay, of dealing of the system, and from the perspective of the developers, the area is what business you are focusing on, so that you can develop your own operation maintenance plan to target from perspectives of the providers or the EBC providers. As we already know, the engagement of the EBC within the project, either in the development side of the project and the construction, it's about no more than, let's say, 1 year or 2 years. But the engagement of the operation and maintenance, it is a long-term engagement that we are talking, sometimes it's about 25 years, whether it is directly offered through a contract or defect notification period or warranty kind of services. So taking that time describing the Jordan market related to related to the project that comes to the side of the operation and maintenance. So the major issues related to the developer point of view is one is concerning the cost and expenses of both the operation and maintenance, because there is a kind of services related to the operation and the other is related to the maintenance. On top of those, okay, we have the asset related kind of services. So to define, let's say, to have it simplified, as an O&M operator, because of the variety of the project, okay, we are talking about not no one single line of responsibility. We are talking about different responsibility for the O&M provider. If we are talking about the residential, that kind of engagement and responsibilities, okay, it is directly between the stakeholders of that agreement. But if we are going to the commercial side, the industry and commercial buildings, which is a mega scale project on the rooftop, that will come to a different engagement of the operation and maintenance that will include at the first stage is the defect notification period, which is normally taking from 2 to 3 years. Okay. And after then, the space is available for the operation and maintenance. Now, um, having that variety, there is a different responsibilities with between all stakeholders. And that line, okay, is not very much clear in the projects that we are handling. Sometimes for the mega scale project of the rooftop, the O&M operator, okay, do three things together, which is the first is the technical asset management. The second one is the operation management. And third one is the maintenance management. Now, for is the playing that three particular engagement. In addition to that, which is nowadays is becoming um, obvious, okay, because of the importance of the data that can be captured from the site, and also been analyzed by the analysts so that you can provide it to the customer. Mixing the operation and maintenance, okay, in addition to the data related, so is working as a service provider for the data. So having that engagement, that means for the O&M operator to target the mega scale project, the setup need to be, let's say, very well clear and playing multi tasks within the same task, within the same main task. What I mean by that, okay, you have different functionality within the operation and maintenance to build up the setup that you can do the data acquisition and analysis from the operation and the performance management point of view, which is the role of the asset management. You do also keep close monitoring to the site, and you do the coordination related to the all maintenance, which is the operation service, in addition to the cleaning. Okay, and sometimes is related to the gardening and the site housekeeping as well. The other side is the maintenance service provider, which is you do all the field related services, whether you are doing it remotely through the tools that you have, or you can have your own network or engineers, technicians available in premises to do the set of activities that it is mutually agreed with the asset owner in terms of operation and maintenance plan. So you are doing that kind of services according to the operation and maintenance plan for all related services in premises. Now back to the, if we can link it to the asset owner, sometimes the owner, okay, might be an individual in case for the, let's say, small sized project. Sometimes it is commercial and it is organization, okay? And that organization, there is a different level of that engagement, whether they are small to medium or medium to large scale of commercial and industries. So whenever you're dealing with only one owner, that would be, let's say, much easy, okay? But if you want to add it for smaller to medium, more functions, more added value, you will, and efforts you need to pay. Now, definitely for the medium to large scale, there is a lot of efforts to be in this sense. What is there, okay? And we have, let's say, to have a clear kind of engagement, who's responsible for what, instead of relying or giving all the risks to the O&M operator or the service provider to do one things. There must be sort of clear, okay, engagement, okay, whether they are individuals or the mega scale projects, to have it very clear. And the main things to rely on is related to the contract. What kind of contract you are, okay, to sign, what kind of obligations and responsibilities that you need to take care of. Okay, so this is briefly about the Jordan market. Now, in terms of data, um, we have started the engagement 2012 related to the solar park that is established in Jordan. And now Jordan is one of the leading in terms of the percentage of renewable energy in Jordan, with all this kind of variety of projects. So we are talking about a good contribution. The time now is for the operation and maintenance, because it is the phase is the longest in compared to the development, which is, as mentioned, 20 to 30 years, depend on the contract itself. So the importance of data is becoming crucial for all stakeholders, the asset managers or the asset management concerned staff, the owner, and the operation and maintenance provider. So it is crucial because it is the reference to ensure the data available is mature and addressed all needs, and all performance related analysis is based on this data. Okay, so it is the reference to refer to whenever first is to provide the owner with the reports that he needs to have in terms of the power planets. For the asset management is how the asset is performing according to what is expected to be performed. This is one. And the other one is how critical, or how, what is the major facts or the issues that this power planet and the asset is facing, whether they are underperforming or super performing. So we have to apply kind of artificial intelligence in this regard. Sorry to take that much time talking, but I hope it is brief. It's clear now the idea related to the linking the operation maintenance to different kind of engagement for the projects.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. Definitely in Jordan, we have a lot of work. We moved very rapidly during the past 10 years. Right now, we have close to 50,000, around 55,000 systems, 2,400 megawatts.
Yes.
Last year, we installed close to 15,000 systems. So there's a lot of work in Jordan, especially on rooftops. Now we move to Stefan. Stefan is head of operation with a BS in electromechanical engineering, a diploma in project management, diploma in renewable energy. He's been responsible for the delivery of more than 1 gigawatt. That's 1,000 megawatts of solar PV rooftops, ground mount, and floating in Europe and Middle East. Very pleased to have you here with us, Stephen. How are you? Yeah, thank you very much. We like to ask you about the levelized cost of energy, especially since you're working in the GCC countries and you're based in Dubai, and with extensive work in Oman, Saudi Arabia, and now you're moving to North Africa. So can you give us a little bit about the cost of energy in these markets, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. So obviously, what we're seeing in Dubai is it's a very competitive market. A lot of the PPA deals in Dubai we're hovering between 40 and 60% savings on agreement between an off-taker. So the levelized cost of energy is very good for the off-takers, and to get that better. Obviously, operations and maintenance comes in as a very important part to play on that. What we are tending to see now is the variables that we see in operations and maintenance in Dubai and in other countries across the region is obviously weather issues causing these PPAs to be knocked, and just trying to understand these simulations and these projects better to get to know them, to see the intricacies of what can happen on a long-term investment from a financier or from an off-taker in a capex investment. So, I mean, one example at the moment that we're seeing is cloud seeding. It's going to get more frequent. It affected many plants across the UAE last year, where you have a couple of days of rain, but then you have major issues with the fog that's manifested from it. You have the dust that's brought up as well. So it's not just the 2 days of rainfall that's affecting these systems. It's the 3 days before and the 3 days after, when the systems are settling themselves, the weather systems, that is, not the solar systems. And that can cause a massive issue for projects that have been sold with a really high guarantee. So obviously, because it's such a competitive market, people are given real, high percentage of guarantee on projects, as in generation guarantees or PR guarantees, and these variables are obviously having a huge effect on these agreements. And if you don't do the research and development and you don't analyze the data, as Mr. Mahmoud pointed out, you're going to find yourself in a really tough position with your clients when you've overpromised or you've underpromised. So what we are trying to do now as Sun in Motion is the most important part of our business now, which is a crazy turnaround from maybe 10 years ago, is the operations and maintenance and the validity and the analysis of the data. Everybody, in the solar industry beforehand thought, because solar had, as we've discussed earlier on, no mechanical moving parts and everything was very well warranted. And, you have these big hitters who are giving you, you have Longi, you have Huawei, you have Trina, you have these guys who are willing to put confidence into their product. It sort of took the risk away from the people delivering it, and they thought they could take a little break. It turns out that's not the case. You still have to do the work. You still have to understand the assets, and you still have to, you have to look and analyze the data to ensure that your system does stand the test of time. These warranties are, they're there in the event that the system is in the right conditions. Hence, they're warranted to certain ambient temperatures, certain oxidization levels, certain pressure levels, wind levels, load capacities. If you put the system in and you don't adhere to them, your warranty is not worth the paper it's written on. So that's why these upfront designs and upfront analysis and understanding of these systems is so integral. And we now, there's a great saying that to understand the future, you have to understand the past, and that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to educate ourselves on these projects that we currently have built and operating, so that we can better our future projects and educate our off takers in what we think is better for them. We know that we can give them, like anybody can, the kilowatt peak size they require for the energy that they require, but that's not what it's all about. It's there's other things that come into play here, and one small issue, even just an MC4 being loose, can cause catastrophic failure to an inverter. So we're looking at, we go into the depths of the training, for instance, of our engineers. We want a universal setup, because you can have 4 good guys and 1 guy across a megawatt system. He might do 150 kilowatts of that system, and that 150 kilowatts is going to be under low performance. Everything else will be at peak, and that'll be under, and you'll never know why until it fails. So you have to really have attention to detail from the get-go, from right from the beginning of a project. I mean, just for instance, putting a pipe on a roof can have a huge impact on an IRR, or return on investment for cleaning, because you have access to the water there and then on the roof. It reduces your health and safety risks for your operatives up and down on the roof. You don't have mechanical equipment in giving you, extra force for the pressure of the water that you're delivering. It's already there. So there's little intricacies like that that really benefit a system. And again, with the levelized cost of energy, it can help to give you a better deal to the off-taker and make you more competitive if you look at those things early on. Because 2 and 3 years down the line on a 25-year agreement, you don't want to start seeing them failures that quick.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for your insight. Very interesting, and we will follow up with a few more questions on these comments. Back to Mahmoud. Mahmoud, the market in Jordan started with the net metering, as you know, and we have in Saudi Arabia now net billing. To moving forward, we are in Jordan considering the net zero or adding the storage. So we might have a very developed market very shortly with a storage plus maybe net billing or net metering. So we're moving towards, let's say, a more advanced market. We might also develop the market with a virtual power plants. So from your perspective, let's say the next step forward, the next 5 to 10 years in Jordan, what kind of advice do you have for the practitioners, regulators, owners of rooftop systems to move forward in the next 5 to 10 years? Over to you, Mahmoud.
Thank you, Samir. This is a tough question, okay? But I'll try to answer, okay? Now, it is becoming obvious the importance of having proper regulations that take into consideration two things. One is the technical capabilities, okay? What I mean by the capabilities is the grid capabilities, the other stakeholders in terms of power system, as well the other sectors needs. This is one. The second one, which is the financial and how you can attract the investors, whether they are local or international, to come to invest. And this is the technical side and the financial side. Now, for that regulator to develop the market as we are moving from the wholesale market to open market, okay, this comes according to the strategy that's been built by the Ministry of Energy. We have to have a clear and incentive-based kind of regulations in order to move the market to another area as a roadmap to transition in energy. So focusing, as you mentioned, in the virtual power planet, which is one of the things that need to formalize the distributed energy, because as you mentioned, the 55,000 per setup, they are also becoming producers. They are not anymore consumers. So the producers, they have to bid for that distributed energy, which is nowadays is not going to be centralized anymore. It is becoming distributed. So a lot of things need to be settled down in this regard, focusing, and you are leading, I believe, in this, to have kind of ESCOs, okay? What I mean by the ESCOs different to the other market states and hopefully the region, to have independent service providers or kind of ESCOs, large scales, medium scale, okay, kind of engagement, so that they can develop the market. And what the regulations need to do, okay, the regulators, which is in our case, the EMRC, need to listen to that and drive the move along with all stakeholders, the providers, the private sectors, okay, and the investors as well to drive that market to a successful end. Okay, this is in one aspect. Now, the other aspect, okay, is how you can incentivize the staff, because you mentioned Saudi Arabia is related to the billing, okay, and the net zero in terms of if you are developing kind of storage, okay. It has become now intellectual, okay, and you have to have a setup that can support this drive and drive it as well, building the capacity behind that, building the solutions to guarantee all stakeholders that this is will be of value added to all stakeholders, having the resources available there. Also to develop the market in terms of how you can develop the operation and maintenance, because it is the longest and the guarantors, okay, for this particular project and asset to ensure the performance is based on the requirements of the owner. It is saving, okay, and lower the electricity bills for him. This is one. The second, if it is going to generate revenue similar to Saudi Arabia, that means you want to ensure there is he has more, okay, cash from the utilities rather than being able to be invoiced. So how you want to ensure this in terms of zero export? That means you have to have sort of configuration available within the storage. First is to serve the grid, and the other one to serve the customer interest and to ensure the compliance with the data. Now, all of these are based on mainly the data and the importance of data and the importance of digitalization, okay, in the energy sector, to have all monetization tools available, whether they are inverter-based monitoring system up to advanced SCADA and real-time kind of monitoring. I want to refer here in regarding the vendors or the manufacturer, inverter manufacturer process, and I want to salute the Huawei because they having an advantage over the monitoring tools that they have, because it is built on that sense of digitalizations. Similar, I mean, to other players who is doing so. And why I'm referring to this, because we have been engaged in evaluating how can we, let's say, have all these information available in one tool, okay? And within that tools, how you can classify the functionality to each section's departments and maybe the privileges to have the owner access to that tools, as well the service managers or the field engineers, also the asset owners, all stakeholders to have that repository of data and information mutualization, okay, to have it in one place so that he can have an accumulated kind of uh, data that can be of great value to maintain the asset and to ensure the asset is generating what is supposed to do, and you maintain it in the way as per the manufacturer, okay, to ensure that the asset is still available and can generate the objectives of the owner, okay, in terms of whether they are zero export or a great export, or it is to maintain the asset to generate what is supposed to generate. Sorry again for taking much time doing so.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Very important issues that you raised, and I will follow up with few more questions also. Back to Stefan. You mentioned a very important point or an issue that arise during the O&M, which is the promised revenues or promised generation versus actual, and sometimes the EPC contractor will take extra risk
Oh, yes.
to secure this project. So, from your experience, is there a certain form of contract that will balance the risk between the EPC and the owner, and at the same time, you are referring to international standards, for example, such as the IEC standards, and so on and so forth. So, from your experience, can you tell us a little bit about the forms of contract that you are using in your O&M? Thank you.
Of course, yeah. So I mean, yeah, the contracts that we're currently using at the moment, they're not one form of any contract. They're a mixture and amalgamation of many European contracts, because there's no one form that can capture operations and maintenance as a contract. It doesn't exist. There's no contractual form structured for that obligation. So it's a mixture of many different European contracts that are brought together, and the pros and cons of each contract is brought together so that it's finally balanced between stakeholder, EPC, and financier. Obviously, what you do have, and it has happened in the past, and it is getting better, I think, is that the financiers try to put a lot of the risk on the EPC. That's been there from day one, from day dot of solar. That has always been the case. The financier holds the capital that the EPC and the stakeholder need, and the EPC takes the majority of the risk. But I see that as something that has been a very, very positive impact on EPCs. So any EPCs that are still now around in the region, they've gone through a tough learning curve, and they know what they're doing, because they've had to go through that tough learning curve, and they've had to be burned. And they now are knowledgeable enough to navigate those contracts. They've, as Mahmoud's just discussed, and he's hit a great point on the data and digitalization and monetization of kilowatt hours. These EPCs know this back to front now. They know exactly what they're looking at. They know exactly month on month seasonality, what that system should be doing, when it should be doing it, and what it should not be doing, and what effect that has on the contract. Now, what you tend to see is in operations and maintenance for sure in the region is that people will bank kilowatt hours. They'll bank it when they've got the good months, so that in the months where they don't have full control and there's so many variables that the normal cleaning parameters that they would do and what they've agreed, it makes no difference. You can clean as many times as you want, but something else is going to happen. They have a buffer. They have something that helps them to get through the stormy days, and guarantee the tough guarantees and the performance guarantees. I think obviously what's happening now, which is helping EPCs and off takers a bit more, again, as Mahmoud touched on, is the likes of Huawei and these guys, and Jinko bringing the N-type in. It's making it a lot easier for the EPC with the technology to hand to actually measure what they're doing. You can a lot of physical testing as an electrotechnical engineer. You can do your physical tests. And you can look at that, but the moment you move away, you're relying on AI. You're relying on something to give you a notification of the measurement that you took 24 hours ago. And these inverter manufacturers are getting much better at this. The monitoring system guys are getting much better at this. The module manufacturers are bringing in lower degradation levels on modules year on year, which is making it easy for the modeling to be taken into consideration. Temperature coefficients are better, so modules are performing better in these variables that were before uncontrollable. So the balance of technology against digitalization and knowledge from EPCs is going in the right direction for sure. And I think it's going to have a positive impact of levelizing the playing field in the future, to get away from this the stupidity of incompetitiveness, to offer an off-taker something that is not going to be there in the future. It's great now, and it'll work now, and it'll work for 5-6 years. But if you're going into 25 years, at least do what you said you would do, and let's get the project moving with the right tech, the right analysis, and the right offer, so that the market is trusted. because what happens is, if you go into a room and you have a company that has done the research, has done the right due diligence, and offers a slightly higher price, and you have another guy who comes in, he's done a bit of due diligence, he's technical, but he's got a lower price, it doesn't send the right message when that fails in the future. So I think it's about educating the off taker in the digitalization as well. I mean, what Mahmoud said about the sharing platform between stakeholders, I think is a very powerful tool. But I also think it could be a tool that you might not want to give an off taker that has too much to say. So, for instance, if you have a non-technical off taker in a logistics hub, for instance, who's not got that, who has a layman's knowledge of the system, but sees one day that the conditions are not well and the system is not performing, the first thing he's going to do if he has access, he's going to pick up the phone. My system's not doing what it says. And then you're going to have the awkward conversation of saying, have you looked out the window? It's dark. And those conversations can then lead to a lot more time of an operations and maintenance manager or supervisor explaining things to an individual that has not taken the time at the beginning of the project to verse himself with these things. And again, the same responsibility lies with the EPC or the financier to educate the off-taker in the first instance of these things. So it's a bit of a give and take thing. So it's a fine line between what should be made available to everyone and what we should do to ensure that availability is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Stefan. Now I'm going to ask the same question to both of you. So we'll take turns in answering same question. During the past 10 years, we've been growing the solar PV market, and the inverter actually reads the kilowatt hour, but this information doesn't go to the grid, to the utility. And it's causing a lot of problems right now because we're close to, let's say, 1 gigawatt of the decentralized systems in Jordan. And probably Jordan is the most developed market in the MENA as far as decentralized PV market. So that is creating a lot of uncertainty. So from your experience, what might be the solution to share the information that the inverter is providing with the utility? Mahmoud, would you like to go first?
Yes, thanks, Samer. Again, very good question. Okay, especially nowadays, because we are started. The regulator started with the new line of tariff. Okay, and based on the tariff that is gonna imposed by April 1st, is to have all the benefits of the renewable energy in terms of productions to incentivize other sectors. This is one, okay, and the other part of it, okay, how can we incentivize the producers, okay, at the same time meeting the grid needs? We can do this by developing regulations that will do the incentivization of the producers, okay, in order for them to lower the consumptions or to get lower the electricity bills. So in Saudi Arabia, they incentivize, okay, the producers. Now we have to have the same, but whenever there is a problem, there is a solutions. But you need to take into the solution the interest of all market, as you are targeting on a roadmap to go for the energy transition to clean energy. So if we are going to the clean energy, that means we have to incentivize, okay, and to develop the interconnection, maybe the storage is one of them, to develop the storage that will not affect, okay, the grid, unless there is a study to have it get benefits of the storage that it is available, whether it is residential or the commercial side. So that dialogue need to be conducted with all stakeholders to come up with a roadmap on how we can develop the market, instead of thinking on formulating the market, not to go for the cleaning by imposing a new tariff or new regulations, okay, because it is not healthy to give the message that you are going to 50% contribution of renewable energy or the clean energy. At the same time, you are formulating, okay, their road or their roadmap to that to reach that. Okay, this is one. The second, is there any kind of solutions that can develop this? Yes, there is a lot of solutions. As an example, if we are to let's say give the permission or the access for aggregators to be available, okay, in the market, that means I can go directly, okay, with the distributed energy resources and have it a contract that I can get benefits of the access, okay, and I can incentivize you, the producers. Now, if the government cannot, okay, incentivize the producers, others they can do, okay, which is the aggregator in this case. Now, but thinking the holistic things related to the asset is one of the things that we need, let's say, to focus on. The other issue, okay, is to have the proper tools, okay, to monetize your asset, whether they are directly connected to the inverters. And I believe the smart inverters, along with the storage, is becoming, let's say, available, and it is going to expand in the market. Maybe Huawei, as mentioned by Stephen, and other, let's say, the Genco and the GA, in terms of technology, they are developing that, in addition to other manufacturers. So going that road, okay, uh, also there is, and we are seeing a lot of the artificial intelligence tools provider. They are developing tools, okay, to become able to to provide the access or the all stakeholders the access to their performance and to measure the performance of their power planet. Maybe sometimes it is there is a 15 minutes daily data injection, but it is going to be live real time in soon. Hopefully, it's going to be very soon to have a real time kind of monetizing the assets that you do have. Why the monetizing that effect? Because you can have the fast action in terms of failure. Okay, you can have sort of prediction. You can prediction. You may link it to forecasting. Okay, so that you will know what is going on in terms of what is going to be production within that area. We have seen in the tool, let's say, presented the first in the video, is the effect of the shading and the effect of the strings. Now, this kind that's becoming intelligent, and this is the importance of the engaging the data with the energy and enable the provider to do so. Now, all these must be with a price signal, based on the price signal, in order to lower the price of the energy, the levelized cost, as mentioned by Stephen, okay, to minimize that for the benefits of the producers. Okay. And this is the case that we are pushing further to go in this direction rather than formulating the progress, okay, and start, let's say, to have obstacles against the renewable energy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Over to you, Stefan. Same question is regarding how can we share the information that the inverter is generating with the grid?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, the one thing that's is very different in this part of the world compared to others is you have aggregators that have monopolized the energy sector. So you have your DY, your FIWA, CY. You have one point of contact for energy. In the UK, obviously, you have district network operators, and you have the same in Europe, so that you're dealing with different entities who supply power to different parts of the region. So you have a little bit more leverage of who you can speak to and how you can progress. But they work along the same legislation. So they have G99 legislation in the UK and Europe, which is all of the network operators operate on the G99 legislation, which is renewable embedded generation law. That is set to a certain amount of parameters for reactive power, for substation issues, for contestable and non-contestable works. And it just leaves it a little bit more open for renewable energy and gives the specialist the key to do these systems basically to a permitted development without engaging too much of the off-taker's time, so the energy generator's time. And I think now we're actually seeing it, to be honest with you, on the last round of DNO applications. DWAR, as you know, work off British standards, so they have references to old G59 legislation, and obviously as they rev up, they will take on more of the G99 legislation. So I do believe that a lot of the new parameters are going to come into place that enable the distributors, the new distributors, and the decentralized people to start engaging the system, as long as they achieve these parameters. And the last check will be by the energy supplier. Obviously, the one thing you have with battery energy storage at this level is it doesn't do anything for DWA. If you're just giving it to an off-taker, they're gaining all the benefits, and you're essentially taking a customer away from the guy who's built the whole network. So for me, it has to be a bit of give and take. I mean, these guys have spent, the government has spent a lot of time in trying to build a stable network for all of our countries to thrive and get into the future. Now, I mean, obviously, what happens when we add embedded generation is we start having reactive power faults, and we start having active power issues, and we start having fluctuations and frequency issues. Batteries behind the meter are perfectly set up to combat all of those ramifications of embedded generation. So I think if you were to go into investment on a utility or commercial scale for battery, I think there should be an agreement maybe from the government and the energy suppliers that, okay, you are granted permission to have battery storage for your off-takers and to give them embedded generation needs, but you also need to cater for my needs that you're introducing, which is called non-contestable works. And frequency response can be one of those issues, and you can resolve that at the substation that not only supplies your off-taker, but supplies 100 other off-takers. So they're gaining benefit of what you're embedding without any cost to them and without any further cost to you. You're setting parameters, you're setting software to help these guys. And I think if there's a lobby to sit with whoever the energy provider is and offer this, like, look, guys, we know you have a problem. We're not averse to your problems that you have at your substation level, and we know that it's not easy for you to connect, generated energy to your network, but we're willing to do this to help you out. I think that will go a long way to gaining, what you're asking, Samir. But with regards to sharing of data, I think we have to be very careful on how much, not how much data you share, but it can be quite intrusive for an off-taker if the person they're paying energy to now knows exactly what their trends are, but just by looking at energy analysis, you can see if a company's expanding or if it's suffering. So you're essentially giving your financials in the form of kilowatt hours to your energy supplier. So you have to be very careful on what you would share. But I do believe that we should say something. In what I would suggest in that area is if that particular network if that particular area where you're embedding generation, and you speak to the supplier and you tell them what their problems are on their grid, so if they mention it's a voltage issue or it's a current issue or frequency issue, then you share that specific data that they're having a problem with. But if they're just giving you a blanket, we just want to see how many kilowatt hours you use, it's not the greatest way to go. So I think you've just got to be very careful. But I wouldn't be averse to sharing that if that information was being taken in the right way, with a pathway to building a relationship in the future that we can all benefit with battery. I mean, we don't have off-peak and on-peak in most of the region, so you can't do peak shaving with a battery, so that's already gone. Frequency, power factor here is pretty much unity, so you can't really introduce that solve because it's solved essentially. But there is many other ways that battery energy storage can help, both at an infrastructure level and at an off-taker level. But we have to be careful what we share, is the message.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it depends on the market really, but the regulators and the utility companies are facing big problem with the amount of energy that is 100%. Available on grid and generated by the PV systems, and which is not known actually to them. So if there is
we know now. I mean, we're all engineers here. As I do, most people have embedded generation and they go to work, and all of that energy is being exported at the same time. So these guys are obviously thinking, where's all this coming from, and how do I deal with this? When did this happen? We know they face them issues, of course.
Yeah. Next, I'd like to ask you a question regarding the COVID-19. A couple of years, these past couple of years, they were special years for everybody. We had lockdowns. We had a big share of the workforce shifted from their offices to the homes. So there was a big shift, let's say, in the behavior, and that impacted the solar PV systems and the O&M requirements. So from your experience, can you share with us the let's say the learning lessons that you would put in the contracts for O&M in the future to avoid, let's say, the negative impact of the COVID era? You'd like to go?
Go ahead, Stefan. Change it up.
Go ahead, Stefan.
I mean, obviously, COVID struck everyone in a negative and a positive way. Also, I think there's some positive outcomes from what happened with COVID. I think everyone took a step back and realized just how vulnerable everything was due to COVID, and started restructuring in a way that made them a little bit more diverse and agile for future events. So I see the positive in it as well as the negative. I mean, with regards to operations and maintenance, I think it steered us in a direction that we become more autonomous, for sure. I think before we relied on a lot of experience, having the availability of engineers to go to site and react within 24 hours of something being raised and having a notification. And then obviously when COVID came online, you didn't have that. You didn't have that positive effect. You couldn't send somebody this thing was happening and there's nothing you can do, and systems were failing left and right, and you couldn't do anything about it. I mean, fortunately, in our region and the Northern Emirates, they granted that we were a workforce that was able to continue work, so we were able to do that earlier than other people, and be on site and react after a few months. But it certainly made us change how we work with analyzing data, with, as you pointed out, Samir, with contracts. I mean, if you were to try to use a force majeure event with COVID in a contract now, it doesn't stand. It's as underlying law now is, we know about COVID, it's here, it's not a force majeure event anymore, so you can't even use that on a contract. So unless you cleverly word the contract with new strains, etc., it doesn't work anymore. So you've got to be very careful how you write it or what you write. But people know what it's about now. They know lockdowns are a thing. They know pandemics is a real thing. No one in our lifetime has seen that since probably the Spanish flu, which none of us are old enough to have gone through, I hope. So yeah, it's certainly changed the directive, and I think things will become more autonomous I'd like to think robotics will start playing a bit more of a role in the future, but I'm not so positive at the moment about robotics for solar, because it's just not quite there yet as a technology for me, and it's not quite there on a cost against return for many companies either. But it's something that should definitely be looked into, and it deserves more research and development for bringing that online, so that in these events, these plants are not only sustainable, they're sustained sustainably, so that we can be at arm's length from these systems. So I think you're right. It's had a negative effect and a very positive outlook on how we can diversify in the future.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you very much. Mahmoud, would you like to share with us your learning lessons from the COVID-19 era and how to update our O&M contracts?
Sure. There is a lot of questions and issues that been raised recently after the lockdown between the off-takers, between the service generators and the off-takers as well. There is a lot of issues there, and it's still some of them there. They are still under discussion whether to consider it as a force majeure or what is the effect and how we can calculate the effect on the off-takers as well the let's say service provider affected badly or positively. Now there is a lot of issues, and it is and should be resolved in an open, clear benefits for all parties. At the same time, we have power planets that have a great access during the lockdown because it is already generating the electricity, but they are not directly get benefits of that. So a lot of customers, they raise the issues with the regulator, and it is on the regulator table, but it is not yet addressed. So there is a questions in that sense concerning what you mentioned, Samir, for the contract. Now the lowers starting to develop kind of contracts to include such cases. Sometimes for clear cases, we are talking about the availability and non-availability of the products, and normally the outages, and similar to what happened during the COVID, is excluded from the performance. But this can be understood from let's say in a residential, semi commercial, industrial, but the off-takers who is paying against, who's, let's say, getting money out of the kilowatt, that means it's affecting his business model. So, and it is affecting also the wheeling business model as well. All these issues must be raised because the distributors, they have their companies. For the transmission, they have their company. The generators they have, but for the producers, they do not have the umbrella whom to, let's say, to address their concerns. And how we can lobbying, as mentioned by the Steving. How we can lobby this into, let's say, more values to all stakeholders, not only the producers. Uh, Back to the areas concerning the O&M operators, we are playing the kind of the asset optimization, and this comes to playing the role of the technical asset management point of view by providing the data and the information. And yes, it depends on the kind of the customer that you are having the contract with. It is not supposed to have that great data and detailed data to that, but you may need it for other kind of customers. If it is an off-taker and there is a billing, so for the billing you have to prove, let's say, your values. But in terms of let's say monitoring, at least if you can start with we call it KISS, which is the keep it simple. So simple is the way is to have it, and Believe me, we have in Jordan, including our chairman, is adopted by the mobile. So whenever there is anything related to the issue concerning the performance, he start using it from the mobile, the application. So why it is degraded today, and he's linked it to the weather, okay, and the weather correction, okay, formula. And whenever there is an issue concerning the performance, or it is not available, or an internet issue, he's starting to be, let's say, attached to that to know that much details. It is not all the customers they are doing this, but mostly the healthy and wealthy people do.
I
But
think
but for we have in Jordan as well in the region, because we have seen a lot of tools that the different companies they are developing, okay, that addressing different kind of engagement, okay, for the performance tools that they are using to get benefits of monetizing their asset, to know to have sort of uh, how you can measure the KPIs concerning the asset. This is in particular. In Jordan, there is also a tools, okay, that started to be developed in Jordan, and it is now, I believe, available in the market. Okay, to use the innovations and the AI to develop tools that can be of value, similar to Uber, okay, but for the distributed energy producers. Um,
you
in
call a kilowatt
addition,
of a cab.
yep. In addition to, it is currently available, and we have seen a lot of tools in that sense based on the AI. The other trend in the tools is to go through the detailed, okay, of the performance, okay, in terms of doing an IR either by drones, okay, and you can use platform to analyze the impact of the PV modules and the performance, to have it in a detailed way, so that you can measure the performance, also the string performance, in terms of where the problem is and what is the time taken to resolve these issues, in order to ensure that your KPIs as an operator, whether they are guaranteed energy, availability, or the BR, the performance ratio, is met in the proper, and you do not have any kind of loss, okay, that you are not, let's say, paid against, okay, or not penalized because of not meeting that KPIs. So
Mahmoud,
this is the
we have
importance of data. Yeah.
okay. We have 1 more minute. I need to ask you one more last question.
Yep.
You can answer with the 30 seconds regarding the data storage and the ISO 20000, 27 27001, and so on. Do you see this ISO or similar standards regarding data storage and data security is important for the solar PV market?
It
Stefan?
is.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, Mahmoud.
Sorry, Stefan. It's extremely important having this platform available. One thing is, if the utilities, the output of their smart meters, data available for all stakeholders, including the consumers, that would be of great benefits.
No,
Okay.
no, forget
Now,
forget the utilities. I'm talking
now,
about
yes, about the, that's
EPC.
correct. Now, um, we have started as from legalization point of view, okay, with the Ministry of Information and Technology, start to develop platform, not platform, rather than framework, okay, and how to have the open data available, okay, what kind of access in there, what kind of security need to be addressed. It is developing, I mean, but to
100%.
have it for the energy, okay, still there is a time, okay, to ensure that it is available. I believe with the availability of the ESCOs, okay, and the independent service organization, they can develop this along with all stakeholders to ensure the cybersecurity is addressed, the asset as well is saved and monetized, and all of this can be um, uh, given with the blessing and the engagement of telco operators.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Stefan.
Yeah, I think for me, for ISO, I'm a massive advocate of ISO, and having and we're ISO accredited for all three accreditations, and for us, it's give us that international standard, obviously, and universality to do it correctly and to do things that we probably wouldn't have done before, and to also, not just think about our own company, but think about the company that we're working with and for, and realizing how significant their HSE is, their quality, their environmental, their data, how important it is to them that it doesn't get out to competitors, etc. So I think it's a really good move to introduce that to solar, because that data is crucial to someone's competitor. If it's a logistics company, for instance, and they're doing a lot of autonomy and they have low levels of kilowatt hour usage against a competitor, and the competitor gets to see that data and is like, okay, I need to change because these guys are going to kill me, and this is how I'm going to change. Then you're taking away someone's hard work. So I think, data for ISO, I think it should be standardized. I think it should be part of the industry, and I think it can protect everyone who's involved in the investment.
Thank you very much. Massive thank you, Stefan and Mahmoud, for your insights into the O&M for solar PV rooftops. And back to you, Anand, at the end of this valuable session.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our esteemed panelists for this wonderful session. A very special thanks to Mr. Samir sir for superbly managing the session. So with this, we have come to the end of the conference. But the show is not over yet. We still have our prestigious awards ceremony. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon with the Middle East Rooftop Solar Congress Awards. Till then, bye from our end. Thank you so much.